With the holidays around the corner, 'tis the season to overindulge. Today, I'm catching up with author, keynote speaker, and coach Sharon Fekete, who's sharing her journey to sobriety that reshaped her life. Bloom Health Club starts now.
From the Stream Center, welcome to Bloom Health Club, sponsored by Monticello Family and Sedation Dentistry.
Bloom Health Club. I'm your host, Gayle Guyardo, and our newest member of the club is life coach Sharon Fekete, who helps people struggling with addiction, depression, or even loving someone in crisis. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
And I want to introduce you to our producer who's directing the podcast today, Lily Oberhelman. Lily, you're going to be joining the conversation from time to time.
I'm very excited to be here.
This is good stuff.
Yay.
So let's start with your personal journey that started when you were very, very young. You made the decision that you were going to stop drinking. What happened?
So I don't think it was my decision at first. So it started with a family intervention when I was 18 years old. I had struggled. I went to a private Catholic school, taken away from my friends that were going to public school, and I really struggled terribly with acne. Didn't feel like I fit in, the hormones, all the things that are happening to most teenagers growing up. And so there was a family intervention one night when I came home when I was 18 years old, and they wanted me to go to rehab. So off I went to New Hampshire, to Seafield Pines. It was quite lovely. And I got to climb a mountain and do yoga, but I certainly at 18 years old did not think I had a problem with alcohol or drugs. I just thought I was like everybody else that liked to have a few drinks. And then at 19, I was mandated to my second rehab. And then when I went to this halfway...
When you say mandated, do you mean by court?
That's correct. Okay. I was arrested, and hence why I wrote a book, because these stories can tend to be very long, but it's not even an interesting enough story. It was like having fake ID and just... wrong place, wrong time. And so now I'm mandated. My parents have to get the lawyer, and it's costing a tremendous amount of money to have this child of theirs. And now I'm going to my second rehab in a halfway house in upstate New York, also lovely, Rhinebeck Lodge.
Okay.
So yoga, meditation, all the things. And then, I really did not think I had a problem at 19 years old. I thought I was just like everybody else. My first rehab was for adolescents. The second one was a little more serious. The court was involved, so it was definitely more serious. But I picked up drinking right away, and I blacked out one night when I was 19 years old from New York and woke up in Detroit, Michigan.
How'd you get there?
Well, that's a good question. I was a blackout drinker. So I woke up in another state. So the thing about blackout drinking is that I don't remember. I'd love to make up a great story about how it happened. I know it was some guy that tended to be part of the story with me. I would meet some guy, and he must have said something wonderful like, "Would you like to go to Detroit, Michigan, Sharon?"
And that's all it
And I said,
Sharon's
yes.
like, I'm there.
Here we go.
Right.
And the thing about that, though, was when I did get there and realized, my God, I'm literally in a different state, I was relieved because nobody there knew I had a problem with alcohol and drugs. And I could continue on this horrific binge fest that I was on, because I didn't feel good about myself. And I needed this alcohol and drugs to lift the depression that I had experienced every time somebody took my medicine away, which is what I refer to alcohol and drugs as. It was just something to get the pain away, even if it was temporary.
So let's talk about the books that you've written. The most recent one you wrote right after the pandemic.
So I wrote my first one right before the pandemic.
Okay.
So you don't want me writing any books because bad things seem to happen. I released my first book in 2019. So it certainly wasn't going to be part of the journey I thought I was going to stay on. I was very happy in my career. I've been known as the doctor whisperer for a long time. I've been running and helping physicians since I was in my 20s, since I got sober at 21. So for me to now come out and write my memoir about all the things that nobody knew about me was a bit scary, but I was witnessing so many people in my own community in Tampa Bay that were very successful, very affluent professionals, physicians, CEOs of companies that had either lost their child to an overdose or suicide. And yeah, it took me as the wellness editor of a local magazine, and I wrote about it in my book, where I was hosting an event with all of these physicians to my right. And I was looking out into the audience, and I knew two people that had lost their children to this disease of addiction, depression, and mental health issues that are unresolved. And I thought, I'm going to just tell everybody that I'm sober. So I was at a beautiful, luxurious space, and it was scary. And then I had such a great response from that. I thought, what would it be like if everybody knew where I came from?
Right. And what was it like?
Scary. I mean, my husband, to this day, maybe not to this day, but it was a scary thing for me I'm working in the medical industry. I had been the boss. I was director of operations for New York Medical before I moved to Florida. I had, 11 of our own offices and 42 satellite offices. I was the boss. You don't tell people when you're the boss that you blacked out and moved to Detroit, Michigan.
Right.
It's not the thing to do. You don't want anybody to think that you have a weakness or that you've been through anything. I was taught in business that you come in and you act like you know what you're doing no matter what's happening. Wear the red power suit. I mean, I was literally told these things. And then when I moved to Florida 20 years ago, I ran pediatrics for 8 years. So I was very good at being the boss. And then 11 years ago, I opened my own consulting business for doctors. So people just saw me as the girl who had a lot of doctors hanging around her, not a bad life. And it was a chance, but I was willing to take that chance to help somebody else, because it was just like, if I was going to help doctors be better in business, even though I was hired to help the physicians, I knew ultimately the people that were going to benefit the most were the patients.
Right.
So if I was going to be courageous enough to tell my own story, then maybe people could open up about their stories and people would start feeling safer and less judged if they had gone through something. It also, it made me a better boss. I had beautiful. A lot of empathy for other people that are going through stuff.
Yeah, and we need more of that. And I think, too, that the majority of people, there's always going to be the troll and the haters. I think most people embrace vulnerability.
Yeah.
And they understand that we all make mistakes and we've all taken a wrong path in life. And it's okay to repair that. And for you, a big part of that was the 12-step program of AA. That really helped you a lot.
It saved my life. If it wasn't for... So, I was 21. I'm 53. I just turned 53 last week. And the internet didn't exist, Gayle. So... I know that that's shocking for our young listeners to understand, but there was nowhere else to go. And I had been to 2 rehabs and I had been introduced to AA, and I thought, I'm way too young to be hanging out with what I thought were just very old people. I wasn't excited about it. I didn't know how I was going to get through life without a drink at my wedding. You think about these things when you're giving up alcohol, the thing that is so socially acceptable. But if it wasn't for Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12-step program, I would have never been able to be the boss that I was, because that was my first lesson in leadership, was how to be somebody that listened, who worked on her own stuff before she tried to help somebody else. And then I was surrounded with people who were from all walks of life. I mean, doctors, lawyers, and yes, people that were homeless. I mean, but my addiction took me to very, very dark places. So I've never looked at somebody like they were less than me. I am you and you are me. I just got help and I had the love of my family. I had a lot of support, and I had an EAP counselor, which I'd love to speak about more. But, especially running pediatrics, right? The doctors, I would always tell the people in business when I was working for other people at the time, I would tell them about me. I would break my own anonymity and say, listen, if you see me sneaking out at 12 o'clock, know that I'm going to an AA meeting and I'll be back, because the stress of running your practice, I need a break sometimes. So then they would tell the parents about me, and I would give them suggestions of what to do, whether it be Al-Anon or another 12-step program, because I think the best part about some of the best kept secrets in the world that are free is that people don't understand what it means to be anonymous. I can say whatever I want about me being sober through 12-step recovery, but I'm not going to tell you who I saw there. That's what anonymity means. So nobody's ever, so that means that I respect people's privacy. That taught me a lot when I was dealing with employees, that when they were vulnerable enough to tell me what was really going on and why they were screaming at their coworker or why the doctor was screaming at the nurse, that there was something going on with them personally, that it had nothing to do with the situation at hand, that it had everything to do with maybe they lost a dog or maybe maybe there was a damn pandemic.
Right. Yeah, not just a pandemic, a damn
pandemic. I call it the panorama.
And, Lily, you slid in. Do you have a question?
I do have a question.
Yes.
Do you have one piece of advice that you would give someone that's just starting their journey to recovery that you think would be incredibly valuable? Just one piece, like just to show, you know what, like you're on the right path, you're safe. Is there anything that you can do to just make that first leap of faith into?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's so many things I want to give. I will keep it to one. But we all need somebody that we can trust. And not everybody deserves to hear your story. Because unfortunately, if you're going to be vulnerable enough to share that you are going to do something brave and beautiful, like giving up the thing that is causing you more pain, you have to be able to trust that person. So, you know, the first person that I told my whole story to was a priest because I really I was that afraid. I was in my 20s that somebody was going to like put it in the newspaper. So it's very important that we have somebody that we can trust. I'm an advocate for therapy. I'm an advocate of all things, getting professional help. But whatever you do, don't tell the person that is going to compare your story to their story and that doesn't know how to listen. Listening is so important when somebody finally takes that chance to reveal themselves. So and as you're allowing me to talk, I want to give you 19 more suggestions, but I'm going to leave it at that for now.
I want to jump on to listening. And I, even though I listen to people's stories every day, when it comes to helping the four people that I love so dearly, that would be my daughters, Katie, Lindsay, Allie, and Ella. Sometimes I'm not the best listener. All that I'm thinking about when they're talking is, how can I jump in and fix this? And they hate that. Like I literally just...
We do hate that.
Yeah. And I can't stop myself. I just want to fix what's going on because I'm agonized that they're not doing well, but they're like, Mom, we just want you to sit in the rabbit hole. So what are some tips, whether it's in your office place, whether it's with your child, whether it's with your spouse, whomever, your sister, your best friend, how does one become a better listener?
Well, I'm going to give you the answer, Gayle. So I say the same things when I'm doing a keynote speech, when I'm speaking to somebody one-on-one. And I hope this really resonates, that listening is not waiting for our opportunity to talk. Listening is allowing that uncomfortable silence to drop in. And if the person that, you're a great example, of course, I know that you want to help. I know that my mom wanted to help. I know that my dad wanted to help. I know all the people that love me wanted to help. But I never felt safe going to my family because all they wanted to do was fix it. So they weren't hearing what I was saying. So this is why communities like and other resources are so great. To become a better listener, we have to practice it. So while somebody is telling you their deepest and darkest, the things that run through our minds are like, okay, great, I'm going to tell them what I went through, or I'm going to compare it to my cousin Johnny in Ohio, or I'm going to give you a solution.
I'm so guilty of everything that you're saying. And I'm sorry to say it, but I'm going to say it because I think there are a lot of other people out there that suck at listening.
You are right, Gayle.
Yes. So
you
go
are
ahead.
right.
I see. I even interrupted just then, and I was listening.
No, but you are, and I am more grateful about having a conversation about listening than my talking about recovery. This is the thing that everybody needs help with. I know that people come to me and they trust me, number one, because I've told all my stuff. But if you were to sit here and tell me something about you, you wouldn't hear a peep out of me. I would hear everything. And then when you were done talking, I would say a few different lines depending on what you've told me. But normally I say, would you like me to give you some feedback? And then I wait for them to answer. Or I would say, what can I do right now to support you?
That's a good one. Because I know if I ask the first one, they're going to be like, no, we're good. But I like, what can I do to support you?
Yeah. So usually it is just, I just needed you to hear me. I don't need you to fix this. I have a therapist. I also really, because I have this great opportunity of a microphone right now, and I hope everybody can hear this, that if you do have somebody that is struggling in your life, whether that be with addiction, attempts of suicide, eating disorders, whatever the case is, get help for you. If you are the mother or the father of a child, let's stop putting the onus on the person that is struggling to get the help. So the great thing about what was happening with me when I was drinking and struggling was that everybody went to support groups. Okay, my parents have called it the family something. It's Al-Anon, people. Okay, so they were going to Al-Anon, and I love them so much. They're from Ireland, so they always have a different name for what the actual name is. So they were going to Al-Anon, and they were getting support. But as soon as I got well, and I'm putting air quotes if somebody's just listening, everybody stopped getting help. Because the problem is fixed now. She's good. She's not drinking. She's not doing drugs. She doesn't want to kill herself. I'm going to stop getting help now. And I'm telling you that the family getting the help is much more beneficial from the person that has struggled, because I have to be in the light. I struggled with depression, so I see flowers in front of me, so that makes me feel good. I don't like not being exposed to a natural light. You have great lighting in here, so I feel good. I can't be in the dark for too long. I can't have the shades drawn. So these are things that I wish people that loved me understood about me. So when they call it the Irish goodbye, when somebody just leaves something, right? Well, I'm Irish and I do that often. I will just leave when it's enough for me. That means that my mental health is being affected by whatever is happening here, and I have to leave. So people that love me and know me well enough understand that she's got to go jump on her bike or something. So it's very important for all of us to understand whoever it is, because the people that are dealing with whoever it is that we love that is going through this, I promise you their codependency isn't helping us.
Right. It's just enabling.
Well, it's just trying to control.
Well, that's true. That's true. Lily?
Just to kind of piggyback off of that, do you think that there's very common triggers that can cause a relapse that people may not know about? That it's just important to be aware of for someone that's supporting somebody going through recovery.
Yeah. So thankfully things are a lot different today than when I got sober at 21. So again, I love AA. It saved my life. 12-step recovery was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I had community and I had young people. But they will tell you things in AA that have stuck with me to this day. And this is mostly for people that are just newly stopping using drugs or alcohol. You have to change everything. But that's the truth. You have to change the people, the places, and the things. So if there were people in my life that were toxic, that were just saying, can't you just have one? And believe you me, I heard that a lot, even at my wedding. Somebody was trying to get me to have a drink, and thank God my dad was there and put the kibosh on that. There was no way he wanted to start to have a drink again. And I think that there's something to be said about just supporting somebody that is going through it, not drinking. You know, we have to live in a society where alcohol is everywhere. So I didn't expect anybody to like clean out the liquor cabinets or not drink anymore when I was around. But it's certainly nice when somebody offers me more than like, I don't know, a soda or a water. Think about that. You know, think about what you're asking the person that is not drinking anymore. Do you want to go to a sober space? Because they have many here in Pinellas County now where they don't serve alcohol. Maybe, you know, you want to just go have a smoothie or maybe just coffee. think about these things when you're having events. I could go on for days about the things that people do wrong, especially in the workplace. All these happy hours, there ain't nothing happy about you getting trashed in front of me.
Right.
And the companies that are having more alcohol at events or axe throwing events, I'm just not sure how that tracks with health and wellness. So I just think that all together we can all do better, but we are shifting into that space today, thankfully, where we're becoming more mindful. We need more people to be checked into their brains versus checking out. But if you want somebody in your life to stop drinking or stop drugging or whatever the case is, or stop overeating or stop or whatever it is that they're struggling with, will be that example. Because it is true, like if you don't want your kids to do it, then maybe take the iPad out of your hand. And addiction is not just about alcohol and drugs. Many people are addicted to work. Many people are addicted to social media. You know, that's why they have digital detoxes now, right? So we have to stop. The only way to normalize this conversation is to have this conversation. So I appreciate the conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We also have some viewer questions. I think we have a few minutes to get to. Let's start with Anne, who wants to know how to begin to repair and rebuild relationships after becoming sober.
Therapy, a coach, somebody to guide you. I think that if you think that going to somebody after you've totaled their car and said, hey, at least I'm sober now, don't be expected to be welcomed with open arms. I think that there's, you know, in the 12 steps, there's 2 steps that cover that. You know, we have to make a list of people who we're going to make amends to. And then when we make our amends, we have to go in knowing that people might not forgive us right away. Okay. We've done a lot of damage.
Okay. Let's go to Dave's question. He wants to know, is it safe to quit drinking cold turkey?
Yes.
Yeah, that's simple. All right, let's go to Kate.
Unless, you know, I don't want to, you know, I'm not a doctor, but there is a lot to be said about the amount of consumption. It's never a good idea if you have been drinking a bottle of vodka or 9 of them all day long and then you decide to stop. That's why they have detoxes.
Okay. That's good.
So thank you for letting me clarify
yes.
that.
Kate wants to know, how do you identify and avoid triggers?
Okay, so there is this great type of therapy. It's called somatic therapy. And this is only something I learned about when I was 25 years sober. So don't wait as long as me. If you feel something in your body, if you feel tense, if you feel anxiety, if you feel nervous about something, understand that your body is trying to tell you something. So if you feel your neck closing up, which is what happens to me when I feel like I'm being silenced or I'm around somebody that doesn't want to hear the truth, pay attention to that. We have a lot of knowledge within our own minds and our own bodies. So take a pause and proceed with caution.
I love it. I love it. How do folks find you?
Just Google my name. There's too much. It's everywhere.
Sharon Fekete. There's a lot. There's books, there's coaching, there's speaking, there's a lot going on. And what we would like to do right now is to thank our sponsor, Monticello Family and Sedation Dentistry, for believing in us, sponsoring the show, that we can get this important messaging out to you. So you can watch our streaming show, Bloom Health Club, on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, Samsung TV, WFLA.com, and YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. I will see you on the next Bloom Health Club.